Good morning, everyone. This is Jeffy Kennedy, also writing as Jennifer K. Lambert, author of epic fantasy romance. I'm here with my first cup of coffee, which is delicious on this very cool, say it with me, Friday morning, September 5th, 2025. Officially into September. We are in the last third of the year officially now, depending upon your definition of quarters and so forth. I suppose, like fiscal year, what do people decide is the end of their business time? Their business time. That's me being very official. I'm a little tired. It's been a week. No podcast on Tuesday. Sorry about that. But if you're a longtime listener, you know that I was at my mom's house and that I'm vanishingly unlikely to record a podcast when I'm there. The good news is not to bury the lead, L-E-D-E, by the way. It bugs me that people are spelling it L-E-A-D. It's an old newspaper term, lead. Anyway, here I am burying it. I did finish the revision. Among the Thorns is officially turned in. Hopefully the last dev edit. People have been asking me how I feel about it. And generally, I feel very good. I think this ending works better. I think it moves faster. It's down word count wise from the previous version, the penultimate version. I turned it in on July 31st at 127,000 words, and now it is down to 120,019, which seems correct, seems meet. I had predicted that I thought when we did 3 major rounds of revisions on this, I guess. Let's see, I revised it once, then I revised it for my editor, I revised it a second time for my editor, and I revised it a third time for my publisher, which I've been calling the Devi Devs. Devi Dev Edits. And for those of you who don't know, just a quick thing, like a developmental edit is, it's big level. It's high level. See, what are words? Yesterday, I was trying to come up with a contest run by an organization, and I had brunch with Jim Sorensen, and I had to walk him through each piece of it. I'm like, okay, here is the cult-like organization started by, but we got there. Yeah, so I don't know if it just took a lot out of me to finish this revision, or if I'm tired. I did drive to Tucson on Monday, was there for a day and did a bunch of businessy things, got a lot of stuff taken care of, so that's great. We're finally going to get my stepdad's taxes finished off and my mom's. And then we drove back to Santa Fe on Wednesday. So my mom's here in the casita, which the good news is she thinks it's really beautiful. Woohoo! The catio got done in the nick of time and is being enjoyed by at least the bolder cat. Hopefully the less bold cat will be interested in going out there too soon. And yeah, but so that was just a lot of travel, and I'll take my mom back on the 18th and then be done for a little bit. So, yeah, I'm glad to get that turned in. I'm glad I got it done Wednesday morning before we left to drive back to Santa Fe. I think it's got a really resonant ending. It does hint at the events of book 3. I think I mentioned that we are talking about book 3. I think that no matter what, there will be a book 3. if Tor wants to give me a contract for it, that'd be great. If not, I will self-publish it because this story needs to continue. Uh, yeah, so it was. It's interesting hearing the feedback from people reading it. Uh, and by reading it, I mean Never the Roses. So, sorry to be unclear on that. Uh, but yeah, it's really interesting with this book because so many people bought it because the cover is so beautiful and the sprayed edges are so beautiful. And then it took a long time for people to actually read it because, it's a new pen name and all of these things. It was interesting to me that most of my early reviews were from audiobooks as opposed to um, people actually reading it. But now I think now that kids are back in school and all, people are indoors more, more people are reading it. And yeah, it's interesting to hear the reactions, how people feel about it. Um, you know, of course, the Katherine Heigl TikTok was amazing. And one of the reasons that it was so amazing was because not just because Katherine Heigl did this amazing TikTok about it, praising the book, but that because she really got it. And a friend of mine sent me a message the other day saying uh, that I don't know if they didn't realize what it would be about or just sort of coming back to me with the themes. I love hearing what people think the themes are, what they're getting out of the story. And, hearing that it was to this person about pacifism and the costs of making peace, the personal costs of us trying to make peace, yes, is very much what it's about. And the struggle to feel worthy of affection, of love. I thought it was interesting that this person, who only sporadically listens, so I don't know if you're listening, said affection instead of love. Uh, but yeah, it's, I think, difficult for many of us to find that. There's sort of that cliche, that very pat thing, like no one will love you until you love yourself. And so you're supposed to try to figure out how to love yourself. And longtime listeners will know that I talk about self-care a lot and, like the whole take care of yourself thing and like trying to figure out what does that mean? What does that look like? How do you actually do that? How do you perform self-care? How do you love yourself? And especially because we also have this sort of opposing tension of that you're not supposed to be selfish, right? You're not supposed to be self-absorbed. And so, if you have all of this ego, is that loving yourself? Because certainly we have examples of people in our government who clearly love themselves just a little too much, that are basically performing grift on the American people and sucking away all of the money. Uh, except I think we could argue that they also hate themselves and that that's why they are using things like money to try to fill the hole inside, which will never be filled, right? This is turning unexpectedly philosophical today. Uh, but yeah, the fact that we have an administration in the US right now that is so completely uninterested in serving the people. And the idea in Never the Roses about doing something to protect people, the day to day people, making a sacrifice for that. And then I see people making references to, and I really don't see my reviews very much. Oh, hang on, I have to rescue a kitty. So it turns out it was my mom's cat that needed rescuing. Uh, I heard the kitty crying, but just up on the top shelf of the catio. And now I've lost my train of thought. I have no idea what I was saying. Then I was talking about welfare of the people. I was talking about what Never the Roses is about. Among the Thorns is a different book. I mean, obviously it's not the same book, but also it's a different book. It's different themes and different types of characters. But I really love the way it comes together at the end. And hopefully it works. Hopefully it works this time. So very glad that I got it turned in on Wednesday, awaiting line edits now, which I think will come around pretty fast. For those of you waiting for Magic Reborn, I am so sorry, but I am not going to make that October 31st date. I need to rework it. Um, my timeline for it. I've got to see if maybe I can get it done in November, by November. Um, I'm hitting that 30-day extension thing. I'm beta reading a book for Minerva Spencer, her historical romance. She ended up canceling the pre-order for that. And she told me to take all the time I wanted to read it because, yeah, she just like didn't even set up a new pre-order. I don't know why we're all having trouble making our deadlines. I don't know if it's uh, chaos, just chaos in the economy and the government, or we'd be doing better. It's the alternate timeline where Kamala was elected. I actually did finish my books on time and didn't have multiple revisions. Also, I am sort of coming back around to the self care and the self love thing. Um, I am trying to be very patient with myself because I have a lot going on. David was talking about what a big year it's been. You know, this whole building, the casita, has been huge. And, having my mom come visit like this is great, but it's a big transition for her. It hasn't been easy. And um, having this book release, going on book tour, uh, yeah, it's huge. And, we're still trying to be creative in the face of things that worry us and things that occupy our attention and energy. And I've been thinking about this a lot. I'm trying to get it sorted out in my head. Um, Various levels of things. I was corresponding with my new friend Lee Bardugo, who I unexpectedly clicked with when I met her at the tour party in Seattle. I think it was Seattle. It's all blurring together. But so Lee and I really hit it off for some reason. You meet someone and just click like that, and it was great. And so we started emailing. She is on book tour now, and so she was like, "This has been an exhausting whirlwind." But she did a TEDx talk at UC Davis that I saw a clip of, and I'd like to watch the whole thing. But she was talking about reframing the way we talk about creativity and creators, and I thought what she said was really smart when she was saying when we ask someone, like at a party and somebody says they're a writer, instead of saying, "Oh, are you published?" The way she put this is that we need to reward the act of creation. Oh, I want to see how she said this. She said we've confused the reward for creating. Now I'm I need to just play it. Because in the age of likes and follows, we have confused the reward of creating with the reward of being praised for creating. Okay, the reward of creating with the reward of being praised for creating. And I've talked about this a lot, right? That becoming addicted to the attention from people for creating, right? And one of the things that she talks about in there is instead of, if you meet someone at a party uh, and they say that they're a writer, instead of saying, "Oh, have you been published? Have I heard of you?" All of these things, instead saying, "What kinds of stories resonate with you?" Getting back to the creative part and what matters to us. And I talked a couple of weeks ago about Bubonicon and seeing George R. R. Martin at Bubonicon and chatting with him about the awful thing that happened at Worldcon, where somebody stood up in his panel and said, since you're going to die soon, are you going to have someone else finish your last book for A Song of Ice and Fire? And there's this weird thing of like these parasocial relationships we have where people just don't seem to completely understand that the person they're talking to is a human being and is a sensitive, creative human being. I mean, you have to be sensitive to write books, to make art. There's just no way around that. And for someone to stand up and say, well, since you're going to be dead soon, and here is the thing that I want, it's really just incredible. And so it's like the product has become more important than the person making it or than the act of creation. And, if it's taking George a long time to write this book, well, maybe it's his masterwork. Maybe, that this is what the act of creation requires. And it's difficult because we're also commodifying our art, right? We're using it to pay the mortgage, keep the lights on, and all of this. So, finding a place in the midst of those things is really difficult. And I think it's hard for people to understand because they look at books, they look at writers, and they see the glamorous aspects of it. They see the enviable aspects, um, the product, and don't really come back to like the person who was doing it. And I'm not one to ever go on social media. I saw someone on social media the other day saying, oh, please be kind to authors right now because a lot of us are having a hard time because Amazon sales are down. And, I don't know if people aren't spending money in this economy or whatever. You don't have to be kind to authors right now and worry about how we're making a living. Please don't pirate our books. That sucks because you are literally taking money away from us that we need to live because most of us are not rich. But it's not incumbent on you to take care of us, but it's also incumbent on all of us to remember that everybody is. I love the saying, that everybody is fighting a battle that you know nothing about, right? That, everybody is struggling with things, even if they seem to be, fabulously successful. We are all human beings and we all have stuff that we are, working to get through, problems we are struggling to solve. And, you know, and sometimes it's not even us. Sometimes it's like the other people in our lives that we're taking care of. So, yeah. So I'm reading that book by Minerva. I set this out. I don't know if I showed it to you all already, but look what I got at Bubonicon. It's T. Kingfisher's new Hemlock and Silver book. This is the Waterstones exclusive edition, and look at the beautiful sprayed edges on this. It's such a gorgeous book, and I can't wait to read this. I saw that the new J.D. Robb downloaded to my Kindle, and I was like, oh, I didn't remember it was coming out. I'm excited to read that. Maybe I'll just go lock myself in a room and read nonstop for a few days. That might be good, like decompress. But anyway, I'm hoping Magic Reborn, see if I can get that written. And I will let you all know what the new release date will be. Some of this will depend on getting these line edits back. This has been the summer of traditional publishing responsibilities. I kind of wish I'd gotten Magic done first, but I didn't. And so there we are. All right. Well, on that note, I think I will. Oh, I do have one more thing to tell you. I am getting, I'm having an interview. I'm interviewing, I guess, uh, a potential social media assistant tomorrow. Thank you to John Ajudabar for the recommendation. I will be chatting with her tomorrow and looking forward to maybe offloading that responsibility. So hopefully that didn't screw up too much. I'm seeing this has been like periodically freezing and I'm just talking anyway, but it looks like maybe it did weird sound things there for a while. Hopefully not. Apologies if it did. Low production value. Um, yeah. So I hope you all have a great weekend. I hope that you get to celebrate some acts of creation. And I will talk to you all on Tuesday. You all take care. Bye bye.